Did you see the recording that like Kevin Federline like leaked of Britney
Yes.
Spears, and they were like making it seem like it was like some huge thing. There was like another one too, like Claudia Conway's daughter. I mean, like these kids are manipulative,
they
and they're
are
getting taught how to be manipulative for clout at a really young age, and it's really scary.
And
I didn't know
It's like Britney wasn't even doing anything. She's like,
she
"Can you put
wasn't.
sunscreen
She
on?"
was being a mom.
lotion?
Like I only saw the one with Britney, but she was just being a mom, and she's trying to teach her children just how to be good members of society. And the way she handled everything was perfectly fine.
When was this video, or can we find it?
Yeah, we need to look for it.
Kevin Federline like leaked. It was his kid was recording while she was. While he was like at her house or something.
Yeah. They just had like she had a little argument with one or both of her kids. I don't know, but it was so tame.
Okay, I think I found it.
Maybe it's this one. I don't know if I'm gonna get struck with something.
Yeah, I think this is it.
Never mind. Oh.
Your boobs are poking out. You have come in here when we're trying to go to bed, and then you just go and you say,
"It's my house. If I forget something, then I know this is my house. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
Yeah.
And when Robin calls, and you're all, even Robin's a fucking kid. She goes, what have you been doing to your kids? You all need to start treating me like a woman with worth. I am a woman. Okay? Be nice to me. Do you understand?
This doesn't even sound like the real Britney Spears. Like,
yeah.
I maintain this is a clone version of her, and like I don't know.
But you, regardless of all that, what has she said anything wrong?
No, I mean it's like this is just something that
I'm all about.
I mean, imagine if
That's the thing is kids want to be friends with their parents. That's not the parent.
No, you are a parent.
You're supposed to parent.
You're not supposed to guide them.
Yeah, you can be friends with them later when they're adults, but when they're kids, your job is to guide them.
I was expecting her to go off and calm little fuckers or something. I mean, nothing.
This is
let's see if there's more to it. I don't like that she said you're supposed to with your actions and words be respected, not like beg people to respect you. That's not the way to go.
That doesn't even sound like Britney though.
It doesn't really sound like her at all.
Well, it's because Hollywood wants to make her sound like a little child, and so
well, no,
she doesn't.
I'm basing off of her own like interviews and like videos that she posts. That doesn't sound like
lost your fucking mind. I do care, but I'm shocked as fuck with you, and I don't know what to do, and I'm scared of you because you're weird, because you're going through puberty. I don't know what to say, but I do care more than you know. But don't.
That sounds like her.
My little body can't handle all of that. There's like sometimes I just don't even know what to say with you. I was in shock, and I do care.
I don't like the recording your
mom.
Your mom.
You know she's famous.
That is so wrong of them to do that.
I hate it.
This is like, unless I don't know, unless you feel like
somebody taught them that was okay, and their dad is posting it on the internet. That's not cool.
Mm-hmm. This is so icky to me.
That's like abuse to me, to his mom, to the mom. I mean, but this is becoming normal. These kids, it was like before you get in a fight with your parents and you're mad at them. And I'm not saying like maybe this isn't the way to, I think everybody's a human being, and it's like if somebody's videotaping you in every bad moment, you're gonna find something negative.
There's gonna be something,
but it's not right. Like you shouldn't be a kid growing up thinking, oh yeah, I'm just gonna film my mom doing something and then cancel them. But they know how to manipulate cancel culture.
This is that generation. It's insane, Ari. Like you're right. I mean, it's this is icky to me too, Chrissy. Like this is so weird.
Yeah, because instead of you're a kid and you're supposed to be disciplined by your parents. Like all kids are pushing boundaries. They're trying to find ways in which to rebel because you're a kid and so much of your life is determined by the adults around you. And that's just part of being a kid. You're like, oh, how far can I go? What is for me? Like sometimes they'll just be difficult for the sake of being difficult because that's how they find independence in that moment. And so now there's this workaround of being disciplined as a kid. You're like, no, I want to manipulate my parents by recording them and going into like cancel mode, which is like gross. Like this is what a manipulative
well,
it's because they get that instant satisfaction and getting validation, and then they get like all those people on their side because obviously one person in the situation looks like a crazy person and they look innocent, where it's like, well, we didn't see what the kids did to make her that stop, right?
Rewind it like 2 minutes before she started yelling. I'm sure they deserved it.
Yeah, right.
All this is taken out of context too.
When they're recording, they know that obviously they know that they're going to be on video and they're being all polite and perfect, and then the mom doesn't know, and she's in a moment where she's frustrated and she's flustered.
Yeah, is the mom recording the kids being like little assholes and posting and being like,
well, I think even in the beginning, that's why she says she knows they don't respect her.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, you don't respect me. And it's sad. It's really sad.
Well, clearly the father doesn't respect her either. That's why he's
exactly. That's why they're learning.
Britney alone, for real though. She's not wrong here.
She's not. She's not. She's a frustrated mother in this situation. And
who hasn't yelled at their kids once?
Right. Exactly.
Like, you guys remember, like, I remember being so mad at my parents sometimes and like thinking of all the evil things I could do, like, but I would never actually do any of them.
Yeah.
But now kids are realizing like they can like expose their parents in different ways. And it's like, that's just gnarly.
It kind of goes back to how we were saying that we are breeding narcissists and we are now almost facilitating that behavior with these scenarios. And now it's, hey, you can manipulate this scenario for your benefit because we guarantee there's a market that will support you in this claim. And there's a market for all this. Hey, you want to out this person because there's a manager and there's this industry and they are doing and they're trying to get the next best star. So we're trying to suffocate this. It's like the politics in Hollywood are so complex that narcissists can thrive off shit like this. It's just about how you manipulate and how you get ahead in the public eye. So, you know, it's fucked up that it's this cutthroat like that. Do any of you guys watch this Succession? You guys watch that show? No. It's a great example of it's basically Game of Thrones for Fox News. Like that's my translation. Okay. It's basically Fox News, Game of Thrones.
And my worry about all this stuff is that they're only thinking about the immediate, I'm going to get the satisfaction.
Yeah.
But what about this like long-term relationship with your parents?
Yeah. If you this thing is long-term with narcissists. It's the now.
How can your mom trust you? Well, now you can have an adult relationship. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, you remember? And you're like, not that you're an adult, one of the kids in their teens right now, but it's like you're old enough to know like what you're doing. You know, like you're recording somebody and you're keeping it for the purpose of what? Outing somebody later who's dealt with conservatorship issues and their own independence issues and
but they're getting good at manufacturing like outrage at a young age because they have other people too that are like championing certain things that they do. Like it was funny, I was criticizing a piece that Taylor Lorenz wrote in the Washington Post about basically trashing Triller, which is the company that's like trying to compete with TikTok. I mean, some of the claims were that Triller didn't pay all these Black creators either at all or they didn't pay them on time. And when you read the article initially, it's like, whoa, this is terrible. Like they did this fund to support all these Black creators, and then they basically like destroyed their lives. Like Taylor wrote, like some of the kids had to choose between paying rent and eating, and so like when you're reading it, you're like, oh, this is terrible. But then I'm like, I understand the industry, so I'm like digging into it, and I'm like, okay, well, so I was tweeting and I was asking some of the sources that were in the story. I'm like, so were you paid? You know, how late were you guys paid? And I think one of them was like, you know, they were paid a couple weeks late. Like I guess it was like they're supposed to get paid on like a net 30 or net 60. I forget what the details were, but they got paid like a week after that. And I'm like, okay, anybody that, you know, and I think they're supposed to get paid like $2,000 a month. Any influencer that's over the age of 18 that's getting paid $2,000 a month from Triller, but you haven't gotten your first check yet, then like, why are you moving to LA and getting an apartment and doing all these things when you haven't even gotten your first paycheck? That's not Triller's fault. That's poor planning on your part, and maybe poor planning on your manager's part, or whoever looked at the contract. And so I'm like tweeting this stuff, and the head of diversity from Twitter is like, well, no, these, this was basically, she's like defending the influencers, and she said, well, and I said, well, why didn't? Oh, because they said, oh, the contracts were really predatory contracts or something like that,
right?
And I said, well, but why did they just have an attorney look at it? And she's basically saying, oh, well, because they were a low income, young Black people. And I said, okay, but there was 15 of them signed to one management company. I said, the manager couldn't have paid for a lawyer to review one contract 15 times. Like, they could have all chipped in $20 and got, but you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's always the fault of like whoever it is that the narrative is spinning. But in reality, it's like, first of all, if you have a business, most people have been paid 1 or 2 weeks late, like by big brands. Like, that's just how it is.
It happens.
Right? So it's just interesting how, but they point out this one thing and make it all about racism, basically to lead you to believe that this is because of racism.
Well,
and
everybody,
I think that's messed up.
Yeah, everybody on the internet right now, people are being glorified and praised and rewarded for playing victim all the time, regardless. Like, it's just, so everybody is just trying to out victimize each other. It's insane.